All right, everyone. Welcome back to Friends for Good, episode 16. I'm joined here today with Carson Fowler and Marcus McClanahan. How you guys doing today?
I'm stellar, man. I had a really good day up here in Door County. Swam. The weather's beautiful. Played 18 holes with my dad this morning on this Wednesday morning. I mean, life's pretty good, Z. Thanks for asking.
I love to hear that. Marcus, how are you?
I'm doing great. Like I was just saying before we started recording, how I love to record this stuff because we're talking about good things and it just helps me. I go through these days of recording, just practicing so much gratitude and trying to do all my actions like based in love. So I had work today. I work as a cook and like I'm in there like flipping eggs, like making bagels and stuff. And I'm just trying to put like just trying to do good for the people. I love recording this stuff. So I'm excited to be here.
I love to hear that from both of you. Marcus, I imagine that you make all your food with love. And Carson, I'm sure seeing your dad today was absolutely wonderful. And the way you both started that was perfect for our theme this week, and that is why it's important to celebrate the wins, the little wins.
Yeah.
Um, and just as a blanket statement, celebrating the little wins are almost, you don't think to celebrate the big wins because you just do them.
Yeah.
Um, and we want to shed some more light on all the little things that go unnoticed because sometimes it's a lot easier to remember the bad things than the good ones. But I want to kick us off to this week. We're just doing a discussion, no stories. The stories are what we have to share. And so to kick it off, to either of you, first question: what's a small moment from your life that didn't seem important at the time, but means a lot to you now? And
Mm.
while you think, I can just get the ball rolling. But for me, I'd say spending time with my siblings. And I think early on, it was definitely my brother. Specifically a moment I draw to is it's a bunch of little moments, but he had a friend, Greg, growing up, and Greg Foe, and he and him were best friends, right? But I was just 2 years younger and wouldn't always like I had friends, but it was just cooler hanging out with the older kids. And something I really appreciate from that is not just how much I learned from them, but it almost, I feel like I sped up my aging a little bit, and like I was able to understand things and bring things to my grade that, like, I don't know, made me feel cool or whatever. And so my brother's mentorship and just being able to hang out with him and Greg really is like such a win, that in that it shaped me and it shaped my life. And it's something that I really didn't think about until writing this question. I was like, how much Jake and Greg influenced my life is such a win that I never think about because I don't consider Greg one of my best friends or really see the development. So not exactly a moment, but definitely people that shaped my life and kind of moments from when I was really young.
Marcus, I'll let you take this first one, and then I'll give my answer.
Yeah, sure thing. So something that I've been trying to just be more appreciative of is my sense of hearing. Um, I love music. If I'm not talking or needing to listen to people, like I have headphones on, I have a speaker on, listen to music. Zach, as you know, like I love to go to concerts and different DJ shows with you. And I recently met somebody who was deaf, meaning they don't have the ability to hear. And like I I just have always been able to hear my whole life and get such joy from it. So to meet someone who wasn't able to hear, but like they were still such a happy person, I just thought that was awesome. Like to be so blessed to just have the sense of hearing.
I
So
go.
so Zach, wait, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, just to, like, I don't know, really understanding what you're saying, like it's so true how much we overlook our senses. And Carson and I talked about it on our episode on gratitude, but really just being grateful for like movement and the fact that like we can walk and dance and express ourselves, and hearing goes hand in hand with that. Like if
Yeah.
music is music is a part of my everyday. It's my commute to work, it's my commute home, it's when I'm working on a spreadsheet, there's music in. um and so it's something that you can't take for granted, even though we always do. So that's a great win. Carson, what were you going to say?
So I just want to make sure I've got the vernacular of your question down. So the question was, like a moment that was important to you that you would consider a win, but it's not something you'd really like think about in that you thought about in the moment was really a win, correct?
Yes, I think Marcus and I went a little bit in a different direction, but if you could make a moment, that'd be good.
Yeah, so I don't really think I saw this as a win when it happened in that exact moment, but I think when I tore my hip flexor when I was kicking my the end of my sophomore year, going into my junior year, or yeah, that was when it was. I was really upset, and for a lot of reasons. One, my movement was restricted. I couldn't play football. I was really worried how the rest of my 2 seasons were going to go. I had opportunities to play in college, and I was just like, God, this is this is really nerve wracking. But I think where I am now, I look back and I think about it, and I think about where I would be in life if that hadn't happened. And that's honestly scary. And I think the reason why it was almost a moral victory now because I think it set me on the path that I'm on today. And I'm very happy with the path that I am on. And I'm very happy with my choice to not have football be a part of my future and go to Syracuse and study sports broadcasting. And ultimately, that's what led me to Green Bay. And I think about where I am right now, sitting in my grandparents' lake house that I've been coming to for 23 years. I'm absolutely blessed, and my job is an hour away.
Yeah. I
Like,
think
yeah, that's my moment. Honestly, like I see that as a win now more than it was when it happened, but now it feels like a win because it put me on it if it was always meant to happen, it was always meant to happen, but I'm on the path that I'm on now because of that. And to
I
me, I
really
guess
like
that's a
that.
win.
I love that. I'm gonna come. I don't know if this is a term, but like retroactive gratitude is kind of like when something in the moment happens and you consider it an L, but then come later you find out it was all part of the master plan and it actually
Yep.
ends up being a W. I think those are like such cool moments. Like for example, let's say you meet someone who just totally changes your life, super influential on you. Well, every action that you've done your entire life led to you meeting that specific person. So if you're happy with like where you're at right now, then kind of by that logic, you've never made a mistake because everything happened for a reason, whether in the moment you thought it was good, whether in the moment you thought it was bad. If in the here and now you're happy, then like everything was good in a sense.
That's so true. Zach, I actually think about the conversation that we had on the show a couple of weeks ago when we talked about how there are very few things that I feel like you or I could do and we wouldn't be friends anymore. And I think about when we were in, God, it was probably like ninth grade and, or maybe it was eighth grade, one of the two, whatever.
are you
We
talking
got in
about the
this,
bat mitzvah?
no, no, no. Well, that
Oh,
was we rebounded pretty quickly from that. I'm
yeah.
talking about when you and I were really, really competitive basketball players. And
Oh
like
yeah.
if we played one on one, like our friendship was tested.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
like every single time. Like it was like the fabric of our friendship was tested. But I think about the moment when we really split for a little bit and we came down from that mountaintop but then we climbed it again and now we're such good friends again and Marcus brings up this retrospective gratitude like in a way I'm grateful that that happened because I feel like our friendship is so much stronger and I think we also just agreed after that we wouldn't play one-on-one anymore.
We were just twos after that, and
It
we
was
always whooped.
oh
It was
dude,
belt.
Marcus on Zach's court in Cleveland. I don't know if you've ever been to his house in Cleveland. He's got a very nice backyard basketball court with nice rim. We played there, God, probably 2 or 3 times a week every summer in high school, and we used to just whoop like every single time,
It
every
was
time.
it was flow state for sure.
Our,
And
our, our record is like probably 90% on that court together. It did not matter who we played. Sorry, I went on a long tangent there, but that just had to be said.
no, it was tough. It was tough. Um, I wanted to really emphasize and drive like what you said home because I think about our biggest fights, like not just that, but like the screaming matches that like stemmed from like you maybe don't remember this, but when we first started being friends in Miss Lum's class in
Yeah,
fourth grade,
yeah.
I had just started playing bass guitar. I come into class and I tell Carson that I wrote a song, and he was like, dude, you did not write a song. Like, you just like started. I'm not even kidding, bro. It turned into a screaming match in front of the whole class that we were being held back. Like, we were being held back from the teacher's assistant,
Dude.
and because it was just big personalities. But I think back to that. I think back to our basketball fights. I think back to every fight we've ever had, and it's like we've been through the peak of emotions with each other, and as a result, like you will never not be my best friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like I think, yet not every friendship has to have not every friendship has to have the turmoil. It doesn't. Like, some are just really great, but I think most do, and the really good ones oftentimes in our case stem from that, where it feels like an L in the moment, and I'm so grateful for all those little fights. You know what I
Right?
mean?
Those are those moments. Like, not if you have such an intense relationship with somebody, like you two are being best friends, you're gonna have fights. You know, as many laughs as you're gonna have disagreements. But the fact that you've just been able to work through them and grow stronger because of it, like those are those moments that you can look back on and be so grateful that they happened, even if at the time you were screaming at each other and getting held back in the fourth grade.
Yeah.
I'm gonna drop a bar really quick. When your friendship gets to that point, that's when you become brothers.
Nice
No, that
one.
Like
was,
you probably are you argue with Jake all the time and
yeah.
you're brothers. But you have unconditional love for that person through the test of time.
Well, just yeah. I mean, you couldn't have said it better. Even drawing back to what you said about your hip flexor, like how you maybe at the time were upset that football maybe wasn't going to be a part of your future. That was before you decided to go into broadcasting. And I look at you now, and it's almost like you adapted to doing something you're amazing at, which is talking, being on air, loving sports, and you're doing that every day. But now you're a high school football coach. Like, if you didn't tear your hip flexor, who knows what would have happened? Like, you are
Yeah.
coaching a high school football team that just the
Coming
reigning
off a
state
state
champion,
championship. Yeah. Yeah.
reigning state
Coming off a state
champion,
champion.
sideline reporter for the Packers. Like, you owe your hip flexor a lot, you could argue.
I
Like,
owe my torn hip flexor a lot.
yeah, yeah.
Also, I
Um,
just want to make sure we get this on the record because I think Zach and I were talking at the same time, and I'm not sure if the audio got through. West Appear, 2025 state champions, hopefully soon to be 2026 state champions. We'll see.
Back. Good luck.
Zach, let's get to your next question. That was a good first bit there.
all right, I thought so too. Moving on. Do you think, Marcus, we'll start with you. Do you think we're naturally wired to focus on what's missing instead of what's going well?
Oh, wow, that
That's a
is
good that's a great question. I
that's
like the
deep.
fact that you used naturally in there. I think it can feel so natural to only focus on the bad and the reason that I think it feels natural is because of how easy it is. It's
Mm.
Mm,
so easy to just like take the good things in your life for granted and only focus on the bad things because you can do it at any time. There's always, something that you can complain about if you want. But on the same note, like while it might be a more conscious effort, identifying as someone who's like, I'm going to take as many opportunities as I can to be grateful for the things in my life, I think you can get to a point where gratitude and celebrating those wins, those little wins, becomes natural and it starts to feel natural. So yeah, that's why that's a great question.
So, Zach, this is such a good question for what just recently came into my life as something that I've been practicing recently. I didn't say that very well, but my aunt, who I was visiting in San Francisco while you guys recorded your episode last week, which was an absolute banger, by the way, episode 15, why it's important to take risks and be vulnerable. You should definitely listen to it on Spotify and YouTube. Quick shout out. My aunt every morning wakes up, takes 5 deep breaths, says 3 things she's grateful for, and then she gives one intention for the day, something she is going to do before she goes to bed. And I think that is so important for a lot of reasons. But one of them, if you get up and start your day thinking about 3 things, and they don't have to be the same 3 things every day, and they don't need to be physical things. It could be your health, your family, and a pet, or it could be where you live, how much money you make, and your job. Like it can be whatever. But just taking 30 seconds to be like, close your eyes, be like, deep breath, 3 things I'm grateful for, and something I'm going to do today. So powerful. And it's so easy. And I've been doing it recently and I felt so much better. And then I'm constantly thinking about those things. And then the thing that's my intention for that day, when I complete it, it feels so much better.
So I think intention is a really big part of this question. So, and I loved what you brought up, and it's doing that is without a doubt going to make your day better. It's going to make you feel better. Intention is such a big part of this question. I'm really happy you brought it up because at the end of the day, we have being young and our brains being so malleable, we have the ability to actually control the way we think. And obviously that sounds obvious, but it's really like it is within ourselves to control the way we think and have the intention of doing good things or doing bad things or thinking things are bad versus thinking things are good. And unfortunately for me, I'm really caught up a lot in what I don't have. I just finished my therapy session before we got on this call, and so a lot of it was about talking about how like I've been living in New York for a year and I've done a lot of things, but for some reason I feel like at the same time I haven't done anything. And her response was basically like, well, A, you know that's not true, but B, you are doing something every day that like you have a full-time job. You're not expected to be pursuing your passions every second of the day, and you're not expected to be doing like mission-oriented philanthropic things every day because a big central point is like how much I used to care about other things that maybe I don't care about so much anymore, and I dislike that. And now when I think about this question and what you said about intention, I'm really thinking about how if my intention every day or even in just the way I think is to focus on what I'm doing well, it's only natural that things are going to continue to go well because I think that and I have that control over myself.
Yeah.
Whereas the moment I think about what's missing, that's all I'm going to be thinking about. And Marcus, like I think about the times when I feel like nothing is missing, and it's only when I'm at like really like peak happiness. And honestly, for me, that's at a rave. Like I feel so amazing at those shows. But the problem is that those feelings are real, but it's an artificial circumstance. It's not what life is. So figuring out how to tailor that happiness and emotion, like feeling like nothing's missing, I personally think that's within ourselves. But to answer my question, I actually do believe that, you know what? Actually, no, I'm changing this. I don't think we're naturally wired to focus on what's missing. I think we're naturally wired to wish we had other things.
Mm.
And then transitively, it goes into that.
So, really quick, and then I'll let Marcus get the floor on this. I always say nothing ever easy is good, and nothing ever good is easy. Like sometimes I think about doing things that make me happy, and sometimes I catch myself just scrolling on my phone or doing something that's just kind of mind numbing. Like so maybe just watching like a show that's like not that great. And I'm like, it's so easy to do that, but is it good? Probably not. But then you think about just even going on like a walk outside. That's really good, but it's not even like just a walk is not super easy. You got to get up, you got to go outside, you got to lock your door, you got to get a water bottle, you got to get some food in you, and then you got to go walk around. That's really what this is. And it's like a convenience thing with not being present in like what you have versus what you don't have, thinking that's why like I really liked what my aunt said on like actually every morning like thinking about that because then you're actively thinking about it throughout the day. But that was my bit on what you just said.
Carson, I really hope that I get to meet your aunt someday because I love like that morning routine. And I've been doing something similar where I try to set an intention for the day. Like this is this is how I want to behave in this one simple aspect. So for example, yesterday I chose to act with grace. Like if I get cut off by someone, give them grace to understand like, you know, they might have a situation that caused them to do that. Or
So
just
good.
like if other people are trying to bring negativity in my life, give them grace. Like, maybe they're just maybe something bad happened. I don't know. But what happens when you do that is like by focusing on one thing, like grace, for example, because you're focusing on something positive, it's like you start to notice everything positive, not just grace. And that's why I think intentions are so important because, yeah, it's only one thing. It might seem simple, but it creates this almost like cascading effect of just positivity to where yesterday I had an incredible day. It was also my best friend's birthday. So, like, couldn't not show up for my boy and be happy. But yeah, it's like by setting intentions and focusing on the good, it makes it so easy to just naturally be not thinking about what's missing. And like Zach, raves, like the thing that I love most about raves or just like the culture is the people, right? You have your peace, love, unity, respect. That's like the whole thing. Is because when people are connected like that, everyone's just bringing each other up. Like you bump into someone, it's like it's all right, man, whatever. And my goal, because I love that feeling so much, is like how can I take those four words, peace, love, unity, respect, and bring it into everyday life? Because while it's sure maybe it is an artificial setting, maybe it only happens for an hour, you still have to exist 24 hours a day and you can always control the actions that you put out there. So you might as well just try to bring whatever you want to feel into every single aspect of your life.
Just like hit the nail on the head like 100 times. Really quick, Zach. I was playing golf today with my dad, or I guess this episode's probably going to drop on Friday, so this is Wednesday. I was playing really poorly on the front nine, and I was just like getting really upset, getting frustrated. I'm just like, dude, change your attitude right now. Like, start being positive. Like, this is a privilege. You're outside, you're moving your body, you're with your dad that loves you, and you're playing golf. Like, change your attitude right now. And then I shot a 47 on the back nine.
Hey,
And like,
Nice.
that's not that good either, but like, it's
No,
way
but
better
like
than
that, I know your golf game, and that's like you're approaching 90. So like that's great.
dude.
Like
Like,
actually
bro,
approaching 90 for anyone is amazing. So I
bro,
don't
I
yeah,
like
was
big 90
ecstatic.
golfer, you're a good golfer.
Bro, I was ecstatic. So like, that is such a good point of just like flipping the mindset, having the intention to be positive, having the intention to like feel a certain way. There is genuine reinforcement to like that being true. Like when you are like feel this way, like if you start actively doing things to feel that way, you're just gonna feel that way. That's just how it's just life. That's how it works.
And what's so cool about it is that it doesn't take anything like physical to do that. It's literally just a flip in your mind. You make the decision. Okay, instead of looking at it like this, I'm gonna look at it like this. And obviously, it's easier said than done, but it starts with identifying the fact that you're maybe not focusing on what's good, and then making the decision to focus on that. And that's really all it is.
Snaps.
and I really wanted to piggyback off that. Like, good on you. Like, let's celebrate this win really quick. Good on you to be in the middle of your round as frustrated as you can be and understand, like, have the awareness to be like, oh man, I'm playing golf right now with my dad. Like, it is really difficult. And this is the nature of this question. Like, when you're shooting a bad round in golf, which is one of the most frustrating sports imaginable, to have the awareness to just say to yourself, like, you know what, we're playing a game, I'm having fun. That is really not something a big part of the general population does. And I think you should celebrate that, the fact that you did do that. Because it's not about the way you first start looking at something. It's really like, let's say your natural inclination was to think about what was missing. That might have been the natural thing, but you controlled how you thought. You had
Yeah.
the ability to change that, and you did. And so maybe the answer of the question is, it might be that we're naturally wired to do that, but we have the power to change our brain chemistry literally.
Yeah.
Think about meditating, right? Like when you
Oh, so
meditate,
good. Yeah.
your goal is to just focus on your breath and be totally present. But no matter how hard you try, and oftentimes the harder you try, the harder it gets, your mind is going to start to race. The goal is not to stay present the entire time. The goal is once be present, focus on your breath, and then your mind is going to race. But once you notice it racing, bring it back to your breath,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
it's going to race again, and then you just keep bringing it back, and maybe you can literally only go 5 seconds focusing on your breath, maybe you can go 30, maybe you're more experienced, you can do 5 minutes. But no, it's human nature that your mind is going to try to wander, and it's important to just bring it back, that awareness, to bring it back to presence and bring it back to focusing on the good.
I used to meditate a lot during the high school football season just because there's so much happening. It was COVID too. I just felt like the world was kind of caving in on us sometimes. But Zach, really quickly, I just want to talk about this golf round today because it did mean a lot to me, and I actually feel like it is a little win, and I'm celebrating it here. What really helped me flip the switch was we're headed to the 10th hole. My dad recognizes that I'm frustrated. My dad's a pretty good golfer. And he goes, and I don't want to get like teary, but he goes, I wish I'd done this more with my dad. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I didn't play golf with my dad. And his dad played golf at Stanford. Like, my grandfather was an unbelievable golfer. And I was like, why don't you think you played with him? And he's like, I just think we were both really busy and we didn't make time for it. And he's like, man, every day I wish that I had. And that really helped me flip the switch because I'm like my dad just told me like he's really enjoying playing golf with me and I'm getting frustrated and he's paying for my round and we're blessed and so fortunate. Like flip your attitude. Like start playing good golf, start being positive and like recognize that like what we're doing right now is a beautiful thing.
Sometimes like, well, first of all, I'm so happy you shared that. Like
Yeah.
that was awesome to hear. Sometimes it takes someone else to get you there. And
Yeah.
like who better than your dad? And like that's okay. Just because you didn't flip the switch on your own, I mean, it's not we're learning the skills to do that. I mean, that's why we're here. That's why we're on this podcast is like we're preaching this stuff, but every day is a struggle for me to practice it. Like I I just had a therapy session where like that was the main topic is why am I so introspective? I'm thinking about what I don't have.
Yeah.
And I'm just so happy you got that from your dad. Like that was
I I think also we forget that our parents and our grandparents and adults in general have just lived a lot more life than we have. Like people are always trying to get to the next ring or the next thing, and they don't really realize that it takes a lot of life experience to get to certain places. You know? Like it's not just being good at your job. It's like, no, like you got to live a lot of life before you get there. You got to make relationships. You got to meet people. You got to get married, have a family, do kids, travel, do whatever. Like it, we we have so much left to learn, which is so awesome. That was a really good question, Zach. I know we're running out of time on the Zoom. I can only assume you have another question that we can answer quickly, hopefully.
I do. Let's yeah, we'll try and answer it quickly. I have a few more, but I'm gonna skip.
Wait, hold
Um,
on. Can you read out all of your questions, and then I think Marcus should pick the best one.
sure. Um, have you ever looked back and realized the moments you miss most were the ordinary ones? If someone followed you, you take for granted. Do you think celebrating the little things makes you more grateful, or does being more grateful help you notice the little things? And finally, and this is the one I think we should end on personally. If you could relive one ordinary day from your past, which day would you choose and why?
Okay, so we're gonna combine the first one and the last one because it's
I'm
talking about those
right there with
ordinary
you.
moments. So you Miami alumni, I'm wearing my shirt. I just graduated college. What a what a awesome time that was. I mean, I had a blast, made so many memories, made so many friends, had triumphs, had mistakes, had good days, had bad days. And there's a popular interview by like this like
I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking the same thing.
college basketball player. When they ask him in the interview, they go, what are you gonna miss most about your time here playing basketball? And he takes a long pause, he starts crying and with his voice breaking, he goes, going out to eat.
Yeah.
And and anyone who has been a part of like an athletic team or just a group in general, like even a friend group, whatever, like you understand those times when you just go get food, like okay, yeah, you're going out to get food, but it's more like you're going out and getting food. And by
Yeah.
adding that and in there, yeah, you're getting food, but you're also going out with the people that you love. And it's those ordinary times, like going to Chipotle or your local diner, whatever. It's nothing special, but those in those moments is where like your relationships are built. It's the ordinary moments that really define a person, I think. And so for me, like I think back about college, like there'd be so many days that we were just chilling around, probably, avoiding work that we should have been doing, whatever, like skip class a couple times here and there. But those are the moments that I'm gonna miss the most because that's just where like Zach, that's where we built our relationship. That's where I built relationship with so many of my friends. And so on a similar note, I think now that I understand that those are the moments that I'm going to miss the most in my current life and moving forward, it's going to make me appreciate the ordinary moments when they're happening. Because now every time I get to see you, Zach, like I saw you this past weekend, like that's so special because I appreciate it for what it is. Even if we just went to like an Australian bar with Jake and got a chicken sandwich, like that meant something to me. You know what I mean?
Too, man.
You know,
Go ahead, Gors.
I was just gonna say, I think it's because, after you graduate college, and Marcus, I think you'll experience a little bit of this in your first year of post grad. You start to realize that the then ordinary moments are really now the special moments. That's really what it is. And this wasn't an ordinary moment, but I think about it very often because our friend group, me and Zach's friend group, is called like 4L from high school. We're all like very close. It's basically our own little fraternity. It's like 13 guys. We've been trying to plan this trip together. And I think about our first big trip together to the Outer Banks right before we graduated high school. And that was just a magical trip, man. Like I could tell you everything that we did that trip. And nobody fought. We got in a little trouble with the police. Nothing happened. We just had such a good time. Like in that 72, 96 hour period, it was just stress free. And I look back and I realize it was just ordinary moments because we were just hanging out in a different place, but that was really a special moment. Like, yeah. And I feel like it was around this time of the year and we always send the pictures and everything. So that
So
was a good one.
I love both of your moments. Running out of time, so I'm gonna keep mine quick, and then I'm gonna leave us off with a quote. My ordinary moments I could pick from my time with either of you, honestly. But I think about skipping class to play PGA in Shupak's room and how often we did that and how much class I missed. But it really is like what I remember most from college, and it's where I got so close with all of you. And like, if I could go back in time, yeah, there's other moments from college I might choose, but if I had to spin a wheel of a day in college to relive and it landed on any of those days that we were just playing PGA in the frat house, like I'd
I,
be so
I give
grateful.
anything.
I'd give anything. That's an ordinary moment that now feels like, wow, that was the biggest win ever. I'm gonna leave off with this quote. It's actually a quote we've used before, but I think it's poignant now. I don't know if it's from The Office, but it was used in The Office. But Andy Dwyer says, I wish you knew you were in the good old days before you've actually left them." And I think appreciating the little things, or sorry, the little wins, is the way to put yourself in the perspective to know you're in the good old days, because the good old days are always happening. Like we'll look back at today, like this was the good old days, and I think that celebrating the little wins is the best way to do that.
The
Yeah.
current
So,
day, the current day, the present day is the only day that you have. So it's your choice to make it the good old days because they always are.
so
So true.
with that, thank you all so much. That was episode 16 of Friends for Good. Go out, celebrate the little things, be happy of yourself, be proud of yourself, be the best you can be, and don't take the little things for granted. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Peace.